Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Animated Pro YouTube channel. I'm your host, Joseph Marie, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a legendary series that holds a special place in my heart called Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to be like a really big fan of the series. I mean, if I have to be honest, it kind of grew after Avatar: The Last Airbender left Netflix the first time, but I'm so glad it's back. Like, I missed it so much. I wanted to watch it for so long, and I don't really like illegal streaming sites or anything, so I'm really glad it's back on Netflix. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend that you watch it. I recommend you make your kids watch it. I recommend you make your parents watch it because it's just that good. So following that, I'd like to give you guys my top 10 most iconic moments of Avatar: The Last Airbender, starting off with number 10, when Katara spared the man that killed her mother. I felt like this episode was very powerful in regards to the lesson of not giving into rage and choosing forgiveness over the satisfaction of revenge. Because Katara could have easily killed that guy. Like, you saw it. She was so close, and yet she didn't deliver the final blow. Why? I think maybe on some level she might have known that it just wasn't going to do anything for her. It wouldn't have brought back her mom, and it ultimately just wasn't worth it. And it wouldn't have made her any worse or better off than him. Plus, I feel like if they had gone on with that point in the story and actually made the decision to make her, be that character, it would have put a very different turn on Katara, because she's so, like, to me, I see her as very merciful, very kind, very patient, and that episode was just kind of like a different Katara, and I'm glad they didn't choose to go on with that point in the story, because it would have made things very different, you know what I mean? Next is number 9, the My First Girlfriend Turned Into the Moon scene, aka the scene where Princess Yue sacrificed her life force back to the moon in order to save the Northern Water Tribe. While this particular line actually came up way later into the series, I actually still refer to the whole, scene with Princess Yue dying as the My First Girlfriend Turned Into the Moon scene, just because of how much of a meme that line turned out to be. It's sad that Yue's relationship with Sokka was so short-lived, but at least her memory lived on in the series, as she was mentioned by him a few times, and he even expressed guilt over not being able to protect her when she died. Number 8, when we met Azula for the first time. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest introductory scene of the entire series, because it's nothing like Toph Beifong's introductory scene. Like, that was official. But you can tell that Azula was already the more favored child, she was the more powerful child, and you could just tell that she was just going to be a much better villain than her brother Zuko, which I actually liked, because it would have been weird if they had went straight from making Zuko kind of a little more on the sidelines and then going straight to, defeating the Fire Lord. It would have been a little weird, and it was a really nice twist to the story. I also believe she's one of the most powerful and overall best characters of the series, which to me says a lot, because I'm not very fond of villains, but I really love Azula. Number 7, when Zuko cut his ponytail. Ooh, I forgot where I heard this from, but while it's a very used trope in television, it's actually very symbolic for a character to cut their own hair. This usually means that they decided to separate themselves from their own past, or starting a new beginning, like that sort of thing. And I felt like in Zuko's case, this was very true, because this was basically the scene where his personality had kind of hit a turning point, where he wasn't necessarily an antagonist, but he wasn't necessarily like a good guy either. He was kind of more neutral, but he was still chasing after the Avatar. He was still trying to restore his honor in some way, even though he was just banished from his home for the second time. The top knot is also a symbol of honor within the Fire Nation, so this scene could have also meant that both Zuko and Iroh had decided to turn away from their homeland and not only live on as fugitives following their exile, but also just kind of separate themselves from their own family, which I felt like for Zuko could have been very hard to do with the way that he was raised and everything, and I'm just so proud of how much he's grown. Number 6, when Aang unfroze from the block of ice in the first episode. Oh my god, you cannot tell me that your jaw did not drop open in this scene. But what I love most about it is that it would have never happened had Sokka not made that comment about how Katara screws everything up. Because then she wouldn't have gotten mad, she wouldn't have done those that crazy waterbending slice stuff that basically broke the ice and freed Aang. So we wouldn't have had the Avatar or this entire series in general had it not been for Sokka. So let's thank him. Let's thank Sokka, everybody, because without him, there will be no show. Number 5, when Zuko decides to join Team Avatar, or what I like to call the gang, and side with them to teach the Avatar firebending and stop his father, the Fire Lord. Whoa! This was one of my favorite scenes within the series, and the reason why is because I really felt like Zuko was really trying to put himself out there, and he was putting himself in this really vulnerable state. And while Team Avatar have every single right to be angry with him and to not forgive him, I really felt bad for Zuko. I felt like he was being really genuine, and of course, I would feel that way because we're seeing everything from the outside. I feel like him trying to apologize to them really showed how much he's grown, even though there was still a little bit of that, entitled prince type of characteristic you see in him. And I also like the fact that it actually took a lot of time for everybody to forgive Zuko for what he did, especially Katara. But I really like the development that he had with the rest of Team Avatar, and I'm actually really glad that, that sort of arrangement had happened. Next is number 4, our introduction to Toph, the blind bandit. Oh my god. This scene was like one of the best fight scenes. Well, it wasn't really much of a fight, to be honest, but I loved it. It was one of the best introductory scenes ever within the series, and little me could not handle it. When I saw this scene for the first time, I loved Toph so much. I wanted to be her so bad. I wanted to be as tough as her. I wanted to learn how to fight like her and be able to earthbend and stuff like that. And I really loved it because for a small stature girl to defeat this big grown guy named the Boulder by just being able to analyze his movements within that split second, and she was blind, by the way, it meant so much to me as a little girl. I was like, yes, I could probably beat a grown man up too. No, I can't, but it was nice to think about. This one scene sold me on making her my favorite character. Like, that was it. Especially the animation, like, wow, I loved it so much. And to be honest, I feel like Toph is also one of the most legendary characters of Avatar: The Last Airbender, besides Aang, of course, because he's the Avatar. But he has nothing on Toph, okay? I think in the fight, even though Aang knows the 4 elements, I think Toph could beat him. You know what I mean? Just throw a couple rocks in his face or something. Number 3, when Zuko had broke into Iroh's prison and begged for his forgiveness. Oh my god, this is one of the most emotional scenes of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And let's take a second to talk about Iroh and Ozai. These are 2 completely different people. Ozai, okay, is an abusive sack of potatoes that didn't deserve anything. I don't think he deserved any type of forgiveness. He deserved everything that was coming to him. Iroh, on the other hand, he is just very mellow. He's just a very peaceful guy. You can tell he has a lot of patience because he deals with Zuko on a daily basis. He just wants to drink his tea and vibe. Iroh's honestly one of the best side characters of this series. Actually, no, the best side character of this series. He teaches so many good morals, and I just love how much of a father he was to Zuko. Like that was the fatherly relationship that he always needed. Number 2, Zuko standing up to his father. I feel like a lot of these scenes have a lot to do with Zuko, but you cannot deny that he has the best character development out of everybody. But I really felt for him during that scene. Like, for him to tell his dad all of that to his face, it takes a lot of courage, especially with the way that his dad was. He even said it himself, all I wanted was for you to accept me and to love me. And that broke my heart. I felt like I just watched like my child grow up or something. It was so powerful. I loved it. And best for last, number 1, when Aang had decided to spare the Fire Lord in the very last fight scene of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and instead of killing him, decided to take away his powers. I can guarantee to you that anybody that watched that scene was just so slightly disappointed in the way that Aang had handled everything. Because let's all be honest, we all wanted Ozai dead. We wanted him on the ground, dead. He was a scumbag that did not deserve any kind of forgiveness. Nothing. Let's think about it. Aang was already raised by the air nomads. The air nomads were very kind, very peaceful, so deep down, Aang was also the same way. Now, it also would have been very out of character for them to proceed with that type of thing within the story. So in reality, taking away the Fire Lord's powers was probably the most realistic thing for Aang to do. And I'm actually kind of glad he decided to make that decision all on his own. Because his past predecessors were literally telling him, you have to kill the Fire Lord in order to restore the balance of the world. And he decided to look for an alternative. He didn't want things to end in that way, so instead he had decided to take away his powers, which I don't think any of the past avatars had actually done. I also really loved the animation of that scene. It was amazing, and I can't wait to watch it again. So I don't know about y'all, but talking about all this just makes me want to binge the series so bad, and I'm glad I can, because now, again, it's on Netflix. Now, before I go, I need you to help me settle a little debate that I'm having. Do you think that Avatar: The Last Airbender would be considered an anime? I personally wouldn't really consider it an anime, even though it has a very anime style. And a lot of people actually consider Ruby to be an anime, even though it's more obviously an American anime. So, what do you guys think? Is it an American anime? Is it a regular anime? Is it a regular cartoon? Is it a judgment call? I don't know. Comment down below. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe to the Animated Pro YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the little bell icon so that you're notified every time we post a new video. Also, if you're looking to have more anime content in your life, feel free to check out my channel, Itsananimething, where I give my own anime content as well as a weekly news roundup called the Anime Minute.